Welcome. I'm going to get started in just a few minutes. It's almost that time on the clock. If you're here and you want to open up your video, I would love to see your face. But if you're not comfortable or you're at work, that's okay too. Feel free to connect though. If you scroll on the bottom, it says chat, and we can chat with each other through the group chat. So just make sure you click the down arrow thing and click everyone so that everyone can see your question or your comment, because it's more fun when we can see each other's questions and comments. So I'll just start. Hello, share where you're. So excited that you guys are here live, and we're going to learn a lot. So make sure you have do not disturb on, maybe a notebook, your favorite journal, a pen. And we will get started in just like a minute or two. I'm just going to give everyone a bit of time to grab their coffee, grab their lunch. Maybe people are still trickling in. But if you're here and you're ready, go ahead and type in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. We will get started. Will there be a playback? Yes, absolutely. I've decided that this may happen to some moms. Ottawa, oh my gosh. And someone's going to bed. Must be someone young. Awesome. So Ottawa too. Okay, so many local people. Amazing. I'm also in Ottawa. And yeah, this weather is bonkers. We just got a snowstorm on the weekend. Anyways, Kingston, do you guys get snow too? I did my schooling in Kingston, actually. What's that? So much ice. Oh, I hear a baby. I feel like someone has a baby. Okay, this is so cool. I love when people come live because it fuels my energy and I love it. So we are gonna get started. For those who need to hop off, don't worry. Marianne, okay. Well, welcome. So happy to have a friendly connection through Maggie. You're actually going to see Maggie on some of my slides. So super fun. Okay, Marianne, I am going to mute you just because there's a bit of feedback. But if you want to chat, everybody, use the chat or unmute yourself. Don't like worry about interrupting me. I'm here to answer your questions. So I am going to get started. Don't worry, no worries at all. So we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. And if you have to hop off, no worries. If you can stay for the whole thing, that would be wonderful because then you get the most out of it, but no problem. Of course, if you're here, you're going to be able to get the replay. Can someone just maybe give me a thumbs up that they can see that in the chat? Just want to make sure. Can you guys see my presentation? It says, okay, Michelle says all good. Awesome. I'm going to try to make it full size. There. And I want to make sure oh, thanks, Carla. I got a thumbs up from Carla. I switched over to Bell, but I don't feel like it's any faster. Okay. So you showed up today because you wanted to come to our workshop and learn how to be pain-free and powerful after 40. The 3 strategies, proven strategies that work. And thank you for being here. And this is not just any old workshop or masterclass that you may have experienced in the past. This is a workshop designed to give you the tools and strategies to finally trust your body and feel confident and free to move the way you want. And stop peeing your pants, move without pain, increase your energy, and feel better than you ever have. Okay, what this training is not, it's not a quick fix. There's no band-aid solutions here, no empty promises or weird healthy habit hacks, okay? This is real proven strategies that I've used on my body and my clients. And when you stay till the end, I will gift you my must-do Moms 3 checklist. And you're here probably because you'd like to thrive into your 40s and beyond. Type yes in the chat if that's true. You're not just looking to survive, you want to thrive. Okay. And that means no more pain, no more throwing my back out, leaking when I jump, leaking when I go for a run. I can't do the trampoline, and no more giving in to aging. And I keep using the quotations because those are very common, but they don't have to be our normal. Type yes in the chat if that's why you're here. Or maybe there's something else that you are trying to overcome. And if you can share it with me, I would love to hear. Got a bunch of yeses. So awesome. You are in the right place then. And I just want to remind you to stay open and curious because sometimes we hear things and we have a conception or perception of what it means. But I invite you to stay open and curious, open heart, open mind, and focused and committed to hearing the message maybe a little differently. Because if you're still struggling with some of these things, and you can't have fun in life or can't participate in all the activities that you love and you want to be fit and active and strong, rather than just sit back and watch, right? Then something does need to change. And it's why I created this training. And it's what you're about to hear. There's countless stories and success stories, science-backed processes to finally becoming confident and free without the frustration of peeing your pants and not trusting your body. Okay, so I promise you that. Let's go. Okay. And again, when you stay till the end, even if you had to watch the replay and you watch it till the end, you will get the checklist that will help you get there. Okay. The 3 must do's for a mom, daily checklists that are essential to get you to your health and fitness goals. You will, by the end of this training, learn how to stop peeing your pants, move without pain, increase your energy, and feel better than you ever have. So, first, I want to introduce you to my client, Brienne. And if you think this is just another boring webinar about how to, do a healthy habit here and there, you're not alone. It's probably what Brienne thought too. So when I first met Brienne through my training, she was a frustrated mom with an 18-month-old. Okay, she was feeling stiff and sore and not very confident in her body. She was constantly getting into upper back and neck tension, stiffness, even pain. And she was going to physiotherapy regularly, yoga classes, and massage therapy. And she's a kinesiologist. And I know this because I used to work with Brienne years ago when we were both new grads. She a kinesiologist, myself physiotherapist. We worked at a clinic together in Kingston. And we reconnected through my training. And Brienne, even with the knowledge that she has, she still had struggles. And that's why she sought my help. After, she says, I feel stronger and more confident after completing the program with Tatiana. I have been able to get back into yoga practice that I enjoy and not feel cautious with the movement as I had been. I don't worry that when I go for a hike with my toddler, I can't go too far because he'll need to be carried. And I'm confident that I can do that now without paying for it with back pain later. So one big thing with Brienne is that she's very active with her family, but she always felt a bit limited because if she went in, for the hike too far, or her husband wasn't with her, that she would have trouble carrying her son, who was quite big, back out. Or she could do it, but then she'd suffer, the next couple of days with neck and upper back pain. So through our work together, she is able to do that confidently and also go to yoga class and come out of the yoga class feeling good rather than feeling like she is in more pain. So this is for you if you're a busy woman, you're a busy mom, and you just feel stuck, right? You feel stuck in a body that you can't quite trust. You've tried all the things. You've tried going to chiro, physio, massage, maybe osteopath, maybe acupuncture, you name it. And it just feels like you're getting through your day and you're avoiding hurting yourself. You have some anxiety and fear about peeing your pants. Maybe it's one or the other, maybe it's all of the above. And you're just sick of it and you want to show up feeling confident and strong and trust your body. Maybe, as I already touched on, you have struggled with incontinence in the past. Maybe it's still happening now. It's inconsistent. It's at inopportune times. Sometimes when you laugh, cough, sneeze, it catches you by surprise, and you have a little leaking. Maybe you can't run with a group because it's embarrassing. You know, after kilometer 5, you can't just hold it anymore. Maybe your kids want to jump on the trampoline with you, and you can't do that, and you've tried Kegels, you've tried pelvic floor therapy, you've even tried maybe devices. You know, I've had clients who have purchased things that they put up in there, and it promises to help with incontinence, but it hasn't changed a thing, and it feels like maybe a
Pardon?
bit of a lost cause.
Guyanese and Monaco. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you? Do you have a question, Carla, or maybe you're just talking? That's okay. If you guys do have a question, though, feel free to unmute yourself and ask me, or type it in the chat. Or maybe you are someone who keeps getting repetitive injuries in the same areas in your body: my low back, my hip, my headache. I always feel stressed and or it's okay, Carla, no worries. And you know, you've talked to your doctor, you've talked to different practitioners, your nurse practitioner, maybe your therapist, and you just keep hearing, well, joint pain's part of perimenopause, or you're a mom in her 40s, incontinence is pretty common, pretty normal. And it just feels like no one has a solution, but you know that you don't want to live life like this. You know something needs to change. And I get it. It's not your fault. There's so much information out there. Like, we live in a time of info overload. Am I right? Right? There's so much external noise. It's really hard to quiet it all down and really tune inward. Okay. Quite possibly, it's not your wheelhouse either, right? Like, I studied this stuff and it still takes practice. You perhaps didn't study this stuff. Like my client, Brienne, she did study this stuff, right? Imagine your car broke down. You wouldn't know how to fix it. You would have to Google, research. Hopefully, you're not doing that. You're just going to the mechanic, but some people love DIY, right? And you might Google forever and still not know how to implement fixing that car problem. And the same goes for our bodies. But for some reason, especially moms, I think a lot of us feel that we should be able to fix it ourselves and do it ourselves. And or we chalk it up to it's a transitional part of our lives. But think about it. How do some moms do it? It's not luck of the draw or genetics. It's really not. Lots of moms don't pee their pants, can run full marathons without stopping to go to the bathroom. And how did they do it? They did it the fast way. They didn't DIY it, right? I think as moms, we serve everyone around us. I don't think, I know, because I'm a mom, right? We serve everyone around us, our work, our kids, dealing with their appointments, dealing with their teachers, their homework, activities, holding down the fort at home, groceries, laundry, all these things. What about us? What if we could lean on support for our health and wellness, right? The time, the energy, the guesswork involved here, it costs us something. It costs us our energy resource, our time. And it's not a rite of passage after having kids to suffer with back pain, suffer with incontinence, or feeling stuck and sore in a body that feels 80, but really maybe you're just 39 or 45, whatever age you are, right? It's a misconception here. It's not your fault, but it is a misconception. So the truth about what's really keeping you struggling and stuck is these misconceptions. One big one that I have found, and this is because of my field, I'm a physiotherapist, is abiding by insurance. Okay, there's this feeling that, like, oh, my insurance isn't going to cover it, so I'm going to wait. Like, I've had clients who are in a ton of pain. They stop their visits in August and say they'll book back in January. And it's puzzling because that's 6 months of, pain and possibly worsening condition that they're just kind of tying their hands to insurance with, or depending on therapy visits, right? Like bi-weekly appointments, monthly appointments, just to come back and do the same old thing. So depending on therapy visits for relief, not getting at the root cause. Treating parts as parts. What I mean by that is, when you go to your doctor and they say you can only have one, like you can only say one complaint, like one problem. Okay, my knee hurts. Okay, but why does your knee hurt? And then you get referred to therapy and they treat your knee. But the root cause of the knee pain was your hip. And the reason your hip was causing problems is because you don't have strength in your inner core, let's say. And then your inner core needs your breath. So you see, we are a whole person. We have to connect these dots inside out to completely heal, completely transform, and get to that body that we trust, feel confident, and feel strong in. And most of my clients that I see are not moving their body consistently in a 3D way every day. And we're going to do that together today, but just keep that in mind. Here are some of my client success stories. Someone already knows Maggie. I think it was Mary Ann. So Maggie is a good friend of mine and a client. We run together. She has 3 boys, so very busy. She has now run 3 marathons without stopping to pee or peeing her pants. She's dry. Save from her sweat, she's dry. She's a teacher, so she's busy. And her husband travels a lot. So all that to say, there are tools and strategies that I'm going to show you guys today that you can access to without carving out hours and hours of time. Okay, it's doable. Busy mom, doable. Another client, Anna, she has 2 kids. She's an event planner, and she's also a part owner of a local steakhouse with her husband and another business partner. And she's a burlesque dancer on weekends. Super cool. And her story is really cool. She was dealing with some pain in her body for years, and she kind of chalked it up to the dance gig, right? Like I'm a dancer, I wear heels, like this is just part of the gig. And having 2 kids, my body's been through a lot. It wasn't until she really started, because she was already kind of feeling her hips and back, but we really started working together because of her knee pain, and it was really kind of hindering her performance. So we started working together because she has to be able to wear heels in these like big, beautiful gowns. And through working together, we really unraveled more than just those physical pains. There was a lot of tension, holding, stress, overwhelm in her personal and daily life. And you can hear all about this. I actually interviewed her on Instagram Live. I can share the link in the chat. It's 20 minutes. She's so eloquent when she speaks. And she talks about that mind, body, spirit connection and how it really helped her, especially this past January, her opening show. She fell. She slipped on her own gown in high heels, and she did this like cartoon kind of, legs up in the air kind of fall. And she was able to recover from that during the show and just flow it into a back bend and complete the performance. And she was particularly surprised that the next day she wasn't stiff and sore because of the work that she has been doing with me. So that is amazing. I really encourage you guys to listen to her story. I will put her link in the chat to her interview because it is remarkable. She has come a long way and she continues to perform, and it's awesome, and do all the things, of course, with her mom and restaurant hat. So the real question here now becomes, how do you become confident and strong in your body the fastest way possible and not pee your pants, right? How do we actually get there? So the most efficient way and the fastest way is through mindfulness and movement, purposeful and intentional. And we use a technique called the Move with Ease method. You're probably wondering how I know this. Okay, how do I know this? I am Tatiana, and I have been a physiotherapist for more than 12 years and a yoga and mindfulness guide for more than 10. I have three kids myself. They're all busy soccer kids. They are energetic, and I want to keep up with them. And I'm a former hip hop dancer. So throughout my high school and university years, I developed a love for hip hop dance and movement. So I've always loved, things about the human body, and then went to school for physio. And more recently, I always loved running. I've done a few 10Ks, halves, things like that, but more recently became a really passionate, dedicated runner to marathon training and qualified for Boston last year. So this Easter, I am going to Boston to run the Boston Marathon. And through all of that in my own body, I have overcome things like peeing my pants, injuries in my back, in my hip, a most recent hip injury that actually set me back from running for 7 months. But the good news is I've used the strategies I'm about to teach you on my own body to not only overcome my hip injury and get back to running, I now can run faster and stronger than I ever did before. I'm lifting heavier weights, and I no longer pee my pants. And my client struggles are all followed by success through the three strategies I'm going to teach you today. Here are three more amazing client stories that I want to share with you, just so you can see yourselves in them, because every mom has these struggles and every mom can overcome them. First, here is Nicole, and she's actually a good friend of mine. I'm going to tell you her story from her lens. So I'm reading it as if I'm Nicole. So she says, Tatiana and I go way back. We met when we were doing our master's in physiotherapy at Queen's back in 2008, just dated ourselves. Even as an educated physio myself and now a professor in kinesiology, I have two young children. I find myself struggling with aches and pains as my body ages. I'm telling you my education not to show off, but to demonstrate that even though I have the knowledge, I still struggle. Just a few months ago, my 4-year-old asked me to race her to the car. And as we started running, I felt really awkward in my own body. Another time, I was goofing around with my two kids, so 4-year-old, 1-year-old, and I kind of felt my ankle roll on the ice a little bit. It wasn't injured, but I just felt something. Fast forward to a week later, I stood up from my home office and rolled and sprained my ankle. It goes to show that even though I know all the things, these things can still happen to me. I'm realizing that I need to get my body into a healthy state now so that I can get up and play with my kids, get down and play with my kids, and get back up. I want to keep up with them. I want to feel confident and good when I race my daughter in the parking lot. And I, sorry, just lost my train of thought here. Oh, and I want to trust my body again. I've really started noticing the negative effects of sitting all day on my body. So it's awesome how Nicole flipped from that to a body where she felt more confident, strong. She had more energy to work out after her kids went to bed. And what she loved about the community inside the program was that she was accountable. She could ask questions, straightforward, specific protocol action tasks that she didn't have to think about. I have enough on my mental load with work and life and kids. I love just having a step-by-step proven action plan with like pockets of time, right? Nobody has windows and hours of time, but we have these little pockets of time that we can use to our advantage. And that's what Nicole really loved. Another one is Nikki. This is Nikki in the middle here. She's a mom too. She's a high school teacher and a coach. She coaches her daughter's hockey team. You can see it here. And Nikki says, I'm a mother of two energetic kids, and my husband and I have the privilege of coaching their teams. I used to be a high-level hockey player, but over 20 years, my old knee injuries and multiple ACL injuries have continued to affect me. It's been a constant struggle because my body feels older than it should. I find myself frustrated during activities. My mind believes I can do something, but my body doesn't cooperate. Does anybody feel Nikki's feel like Nikki? Because this is something I do hear a lot. Like I feel like I can do these things, but then when I go to do them, right, your body either doesn't cooperate or it feels really bad or it feels really wrong, and then you start to doubt, and then the fear, and then you start doing it less. I got a thumbs up from our team. Thank you. So this is how Nikki was really feeling. And then she realized through working together, Lauren says it too. Thank you, Lauren. Compensating for my injured left knee for such a long time has resulted in stiffness in my back, a significant imbalance in my hips, and overall tightness in my body. As a teacher, I was constantly on the move at school, but I wasn't mindful of my actions, and it only worsened my imbalances. It wasn't until I started working with Tatiana that I became aware of these compensations. I've established a connection, a new connection with my left leg, and relearn how to move my body and transform my mindset from one of pain and fear to confidence and strength, all through the convenience of virtual sessions. Thanks to our work together, I've been able to return to CrossFit. I'm playing team sports, including goalie for ball hockey. That's huge. And I can coach without taking a seat or limping or feeling like I can't give it my all. Tatiana has equipped me with not only the physical tools, but also the mental tools to overcome old patterns that no longer serve me. Okay. An old pattern, for example, is not trusting her left knee. So that was really important to help the rest of her body relieve from tension, aches, and pains. We have to reestablish learning, trusting that left knee. I've now developed a newfound love for non-competitive movement and continue to learn how to love and be patient with my body. Okay, so that's Nikki in a nutshell. And the last client you see here is Karen. And Karen is also a mom of two. She is a former competitive dancer. So someone who always had this grace and this feeling that her hips are very flexible, open, and kind of used to having that persona, that body type. However, more recently, she started feeling aging in her hips. These are her words, okay? And she started to feel like, what happened to my bum? Is this what being a mom means? Like her jeans felt flat, her tights felt flat. She was feeling weak in her core. She felt like she lost her bum and she just wasn't sure she could trust her body like she used to. So she says, the main challenge for me was to find a community and a routine to ensure that I would commit to movement and mindfulness and prioritize myself. My biggest fear about aging, says Karen, is that my body won't be able to do what it used to. And I don't want to be limited in my activities or traveling because of my age. I have learned that making time for myself is good for everyone around me. Okay, who else struggles with that? I know mom guilt is real. I used to have mom guilt too. Give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat if you're feeling this, right? But this is huge. I have learned that making time for myself is good for everyone around me. Yeah, I see some of these moms, right? We all have this. I feel like it's in our DNA, but we don't have to just give it, right? We can unlearn that pattern. Also, taking care of myself, says Karen, taking care of my health now is an investment for my future self. The community Tatiana has created through her program is invaluable. It's positive, inspirational. The program is like a consolidation of all the other healthcare modalities in one spot. Tatiana is extremely knowledgeable, not only about the body, but also about the mind-body connection, and it makes the experience very personalized. So now you're probably wondering, well, what are these things that these women are doing? What have they done to achieve their success and their goals? Stop peeing their pants, feel confident and strong, and free to move how they want in their bodies. Without a shadow of a doubt, these are the three things everybody needs, but my passion is helping moms, so I'm just going to talk about moms. Okay, we have three pillars that we really need. Connection to breath and inner core. 3D movement. I'll break that down even more. I'll break all of these down even more. And mind body energy connection. The word energy we can also interchange with spirit or spiritual. It's not religion. Okay? It's not religion. Mind, we can kind of, it's tangible, right? Your mind is here, you have thoughts, you know how the brain works, yada yada. Okay. Body, physical body, right? Muscles, bones, joints. Energy, that's a bit weird. I shouldn't say weird, but it's hard to like, it's a weird concept because we can't touch it, but we can definitely feel it. We can't deny that we're energetic beings, and that matters. Okay. If you have any questions about it, type it in the chat. So you might be sitting there thinking, I've done exercises, I've tried fitness classes, I've gone to yoga, I've tried mindfulness apps. It didn't work for me. Okay. And that's not your fault because maybe you were given cookie cutter exercises, or maybe you went to a yoga class and you were told just to breathe, or be calm and be present. But that's like trying a salad once and saying that's enough veggies for the rest of your life, or only eating kale when there's a whole rainbow of veggies, right? And you might be thinking, well, can't I just go to a yoga class or fitness class on my own? And you can. Do you remember Brienne, the first client I talked about? She was doing that. And she was going to physio and massage. And she was going to yoga classes. But it wasn't until we started to fine tune her posture, really intentionally show her movements, yoga movements, and tuning into her specific mindset and her patterns, and implementing a mindfulness practice that would help her unlearn some of those patterns that weren't serving her and establish new ones, that she finally got the results she wanted and then could go to those yoga classes and reap the benefits. Otherwise, she was just coming out of yoga class feeling more lost, still stiff, and still sore. Right? Because if you don't do this, you will run the risk of staying stuck. And what is the point of going to all these appointments and classes if you're not getting the most out of your time, money, and energy, right? Like, we're busy moms. We don't have time to do things that don't work. So what do you do, right? What can you do? This is the first step I give all my clients. We need to establish a strong breath connection. We're going to do it in a sec. Functional full breath and your inner core connection. Your inner core is involving your breath, your deepest abdominal muscle. Okay, it looks like a corset. It's not your six pack. Tiny muscles in your back that support your spine. So your spine, where's my little model? Looks like this. There's layers and layers of muscles all around. The deepest muscle is your multifidi. That's part of your inner core, and it is involved with your breath and your pelvic floor. Okay, that's the peeing thing. That's the incontinence piece, your pelvic floor. All of this is connected to each other, and awareness of what's going on inside your body is really important, because if we don't connect the dots inside, we can't really connect the dots outside and build outside. It would be like building a house with awesome walls, beautiful windows, big fancy doors without a foundation. Okay. Maybe you've tried pelvic floor physio. Okay. I've had lots of clients who've had, but that's like, it's a one-off. You go and you do the thing. I'm not saying pelvic floor physio isn't good, but are you implementing those exercises consistently daily? Are you connecting it to your breath, or are you only doing the Kegel component, right? Again, we have to connect the dots. Okay? It's like if you only do squats once and expect killer quads and glutes, it's not going to happen. Okay, remember Brianne again, or Nicole, or Nikki. We went through connecting their deep foundation so that we could support their neck, their upper back, their knee, their hip, right? So this is really important. So right now, I want you guys to put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly and soften through your body, but stay tall through your spine. So I don't want you to feel super tight in your muscles. I want you to feel tall, but soft. okay? And close your eyes if that's comfortable. And just take a moment here to breathe in and out through your nose. And I don't have time to break it all down, but this is going to come in your free gift at the end. Okay, you're going to get a video on 3-part functional breath. But it is so important to access your full functional 3-part breath, because when we don't have that, think of how many times you breathe in a minute, and then times it by in an hour, and then times it by your day. If you don't have your full functional breath, you're tightening around your own heart, right? Your lungs hug your heart. Your muscles in your neck and back and ribs are holding, right? If you don't have your full functional 3-part breath. Again, if you don't know what that means, don't worry, it's in your free gift. And then that elevates your cortisol levels just a little bit, not enough that you feel anxious, but enough that your baseline raises. And when we have that, it perpetuates a vicious cycle of a little bit more anxiety, a little bit more stress. And when we have a little bit of that elevated, it tightens our muscles, including your inner core, involving your pelvic floor, which is really important because it ties to peeing your pants. Okay. And I break this down further inside the guide and inside my program. But truly, we can't have one piece without the other. This is all connected. Okay. So if you take anything away from this, check in with your breath. Okay. A lot of us sit for work. We're stuck at our computers. It's just the way technology is. We can't help it. We're on a computer right now. But just take that moment to, close your eyes, close out the external noise, tune in. How is your breath behaving? And it's okay if you feel like it's shallow. That's where you're like, oh, okay, like I need to invite that full, fresh breath, full functional 3-part breath. You just can't see. Yeah. So now we're at pillar 2, and I talked about 3D movement. And I always start every client with the spine. Okay. This is a small model. It's actually 24 bones, neck to tailbone. It's an S-shaped curve if you've got nice posture, right? So if you think about 24 bones, each bone on top of the next one has a disc. Each one in the back has a left and right facet joint. So bone on bone. Sorry, not bone on bone. There's a bone that's near the bone, but in between, there's a disc and synovial fluid, joint fluid, and muscles all around, right? Layers and layers of muscles that control your back, and nerves and arteries and veins exiting out of the spinal cord. Your spinal cord is in there. So it's really important that we move our back in 3D. Most of us don't. This is the problem. Okay, so we're going to stand up together. I hope you can stand with me. And I'm going to show you what X, Y, Z spine means. So if you think back to high school math, I think it was algebra class, when you draw a graph, you have an x-axis, a y-axis, and then a z-axis was the dotted line, and that's meant to show 3D, right? Like through the paper. So first we're going to do X for our spine. So our spine can move in X, which is forward bend, and then a back bend. So if you want to try that, go ahead. And just think about, you have 24 bones. So each bone moving on the next one is encouraging blood, muscle, and joint fluid. Each joint has like fluid inside it that isn't stagnant, or it becomes stagnant and then causes problems. So when you move, you are asking the joint to move, which then replenishes nutrition and gets things. You might have heard, motion is lotion. This is exactly why. Okay. So this is X. This is Y, side to side, ear to shoulder. This one often feels really sticky because we sit a lot and our ribs get like stuck to our hips. So moving your rib away from hip. Imagine your rib cage bending like an accordion. That's really good. Maybe you can even lift an arm. And don't forget to breathe, right? That's Y. And then Z spine is turning. Keep your feet planted and gently twist. And then if you feel like you can go further, go ahead. If not, that's okay. Maybe you're just feeling a little sticky and stiff. We'll get further with time, right? Doesn't it feel good? So simple, it's so effective. Okay. And, you know, these are the types of things that my clients do inside the program, and not just for their spine, but we deep dive 3D into all the joints of the body, right? All the muscles, all the joints, all the parts, because the whole body, we're not a flat cartoon. We crave and need movement to have healthy joints, healthy muscles, healthy bones, healthy everything, healthy fascia. This is what heals and restores range of motion. And when you restore full range of motion, you can strengthen completely, right? Imagine your bicep. Let's just use bicep as an example because everybody knows bicep. If my bicep is like this, okay, let's go here actually, because I can't even do anything here. So if my bicep is here, normally my bicep should open, right? My elbow. If my bicep's only here, I can only lift my weight here. That's a very limited range of motion, and that's going to give me limited strength. If I have my full range of motion and I can lift and open that dumbbell, I'm going to be able to access the joint and the muscle in its full range entirety. The same goes for your spine and your pelvis, your hips, your knee, all shoulder, neck, everywhere in your body. So we deep dive into that for all the parts and customize it for your specific part that you probably, repetitively feel or continuously have struggle with. But without like a doubt, everybody needs to do XYZ spine, which is why I teach it first. And I want you guys to, make sure you take that away. Because if you don't, you run the risk of getting more and more stiff, then you get more and more sore. And then when your body is forced in these weird directions, right, you might think, well, it doesn't really matter. I don't like really back bend that much. But let's say you slipped on ice. Some of us, we just said, live in Ottawa. We just had an ice storm, right? You slip on ice, you kind of jerk, catch your body. And if you practice, if you've been there before, you're less likely to strain something or pull something or tear something, right? This is injury prevention, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful. So this is me, and I just want to share quickly my story because XYZ spine and breath work and connection to my spirit, connection, mind body connection to myself really got me out of trouble. It got me out of a painful right hip, which actually stemmed from chronic tightness that I didn't even know I was carrying. Okay, I'm going to fully be vulnerable here. I didn't even know I was carrying a pattern that didn't serve me. And this is my job. Like, I've been a physio for 12 years, and this happened to me just a year and a half ago. Okay. So for years, I've been going to, my physio, my chiro. I have my people. And, being told you had 3 kids, your SI joint might be a bit off, or, well, your right hand dominant, so your right side's tighter. Um, and so I kind of just chalked it up to being those things. So fast forward to run training and training for a marathon, May 2023. I went on a 30K run in around the Bay in Hamilton with my friend Maggie. And I think at that point, I don't think I know, my right hip decided that enough was enough. And I basically finished the race limping. And I was set back 7 months from running after that. It was devastating, mentally, physically, emotionally. I couldn't run the marathon with her. We had signed up for May together. She ran it. She qualified for Boston. And I obviously, I missed that qualification and I couldn't run for 7 months. It was terrible. And I really had to take a look at what went wrong. And I did a lot of reflection. I did a lot of curiosity, self-work. all the things I've just taught you guys, really dialing it back to like rebuilding my foundation, letting go of things like my right hip is just tighter. And I'm so happy to tell you that that picture of me above where I'm like looking pretty grumpy, that was April when I was literally limping after that 30K run. I couldn't even walk without a limp. People would be like, "What happened to you?" It was so embarrassing because all my neighbors knew I was training. Anyways, and also it was devastating because my son at the time was 4 and he was learning to ride a bike and I couldn't even keep up to catch him safely. I had to send one of his big sisters. Um, no worries, Hunchy. Have a good work day and catch the rest later. And then that's me. Exactly 1 year later, exactly 1 year later, I ran a marathon, and I qualified for Boston. And I feel better and faster, and I to this day still feel that way. I'm about to run Boston in a month. So I'm just sharing my story because I want to emphasize that I know what it feels like, and I've been there, and these things do work. Okay, so what do you do? What do you do now? The last pillar, I haven't even touched the last pillar, I think. Right, the mind body connection. Well, I just touched it a little bit with my own story, but it is really important. Awareness, okay? And whether it's through a guide or with yourself, you really need to ask yourself, what do I need? What do I desire? Who am I? How do I talk to myself? What are my go-to reactions, right? Like, for example, Nikki, her reaction when she couldn't do something was like, it's my left knee, right? Like, you think about it right now. Maybe you can share or just jot it down. What are your go to reactions and thoughts about your body when maybe you can't do something? And maybe you're thinking, this is really woo woo. I don't know if I have time for this. I'm a busy mom with job and kids, and I get it. Okay, I used to be that too. And Nikki used to be that too, but it was really that tip of the iceberg when we started to, and that not just Nikki, but a lot of the clients that I've shared their stories with you. It's reframing, and like we can't reframe unless we have awareness of how we're thinking. And it's so true that our thoughts drive our words to ourselves or our words outwards, and our words and our thoughts to ourselves drive our actions, right? How we behave, how we carry ourselves, how we do something. I'll use Nikki again as an example because she would joke about her left knee. She didn't trust it. She also physically didn't trust it. She would run up the stairs leading only with her right leg. So that left leg never got a chance to truly strengthen. That's just like one small example, but over time, that's huge, right? So, ask yourself because what happens is over time, months, years, those behaviors, those thoughts, they become our reality. That thought, that mindset, it becomes our reality. Okay, so this mind body energy spiritual connection piece, this is what I'm talking about. It's the only way to unlearn patterns, and stop repeating patterns that no longer serve you because you might not even realize that that's what's holding you back. Like, I didn't realize tighter right hip because I have right handed and right legged dominance. And, I just demo my yoga and teachings with my right side more. I didn't realize that that was the underlying root cause of my big hip injury. So this is what I invite you to do is really kind of check in with that. So clients that work with me realize this. So do you remember when I said try to keep an open mind and open heart at the beginning of the workshop? This pillar, this third pillar often gets lost because it is that it's a harder one to measure, right? It's not like range of motion. Yep, I have full range of motion. My shoulder, yep, full range of motion. Or even like on a pain scale, someone who might be struggling with back pain. Oh, I, wake up with 8 out of 10 back pain. Now I wake up with 3 out of 10 back pain. Like we can measure that. But this one is a bit tougher, right? It's not simple. Like I no longer pee my pants. I struggle with peeing my pants. Now I no longer pee my pants, right? So this one is a little bit more intangible, not a little bit, a lot more intangible, but it's essential. Okay, this is a missing piece to our healthcare system, and it really does drive results when you can tap into it and build awareness around it and practice and implement it because we are whole. Okay, we can't separate the mind from the body. I think most of us know that now. We can't separate the mind, the body from our spirit, or a spirit from the mind either, because we are a whole person. You are a whole person. And a lot of our traditional Western medicine, we just we miss that link. Dr. Gabor Mator talks about it in his books. If you haven't read When the Body Says No, that's a really great book. And you know, it is a missing piece. There is an energy connection that we're missing. So the main takeaways from today, I'm going to try to hurry up because I want to be mindful of the time. Nothing shared today is theory or fluff, and it's stuff that actually works. And it got to my client success and my success. Okay, the breath and inner core connection, 3D movement, and that mind body connection I talked about. And so now the problem that most moms face that I see and hear about is that once you have the knowledge, right? Like Nicole had the knowledge, Brienne had the knowledge, but how do you implement it? And how do you do it the fastest, most sustainable way? Right? How do you get back to trusting your body, feeling strong, free to do the activities you love? So now the question is, how does this process work specifically for you? You can take the 3 pillars we talked about today and do this the slow way, or you can hang with me for just a few minutes and I'll share how exactly my clients got to see results like this. This is Carol. Carol's so cool. She's in her 70s. And when I first met Carol, she was a bit afraid to do yoga because she had been told by doctors that she couldn't do yoga because of her osteoporosis diagnosis. Not only has she reversed this, okay, and it's not through medication, it's through purposeful, intentional movement and strengthening. She's so pleased. She says, I've reversed this and I get to travel, I get to hike and snowshoe and stay active with my grandkids. She has 5 grandkids and my husband and keep up with my husband. And oh, I wrote Robin, but that made a typo there. That should say Carol. Robin's a different client. Okay, this is Nikki. We already heard about Nikki and her return to sport and a new love for non-competitive movement. And she can coach her daughter now without feeling like she can't give it her all. This is Amanda, another client. I thought I would always just have to live with headaches and back pain because I was a hairdresser for so long. She, really had tight upper traps and feeling like her neck and headaches were from her vocation. Turns out that's just not true, right? Again, unlearning that story, that pattern, with little tweaks in my posture for my back and the hips. And again, that inner core breath connection, I'm able to reduce my pain significantly and feel good in my body so that I can enjoy my kids and my life. So you are here, and I'm willing to bet that you are here because you're the type of person who doesn't give up, right? You realize there's so much more life to live and you want quality, not quantity. You want quantity too, but not just quantity, right? After all, why are we working so hard? We're not working so hard just to sit in a rocking chair when we retire, right? The world, you want to travel, you want to see your kids, maybe be active with your grandkids. So you have a choice. You do. You have a choice. You can keep continuing to do the things like repetitive therapies, feeling bound to, the binds of insurance that don't provide lasting results, and you feel stuck in your body, peeing your pants, unable to be that fit, active mom you've always wanted to be. Or you can do it the fast way and join us. join us inside the program. Join the clients that you just saw. And when you implement it, your success is guaranteed. Guaranteed inside the Move with Ease method. My promise to you inside, it's designed to help you stop peeing your pants, move without pain, increase energy, and feel better than you ever have. Guaranteed. And you can start implementing this right away. You might be thinking, oh, I need to get rid of my pain first before I start. That's just not true. Most people get that wrong. You need to start now. Okay. Movement, mindfulness, mindfully moving is what's going to get you healing and out of your pain. Because if you don't and you wait longer, it just gets worse and it gets harder and harder to start. Listen, the pandemic shut me down, shut everyone down. But my clients, they were still in pain. So what they found was they got better faster through guided online virtual movement because they had to do the work, right? They resolved their issues faster and in a more sustainable way. Peeing your pants, leaking, surprise coughs and sneezes, can't run with a group. It's embarrassing, but you want to be able to do these things and feel freedom, right? We have to connect within. We talked about this. It's not a one-off. You need to establish that connection to build that endurance so you can do the 5K, the 10K race. Then you can go on with your days without having to worry about bathroom anxiety. Plus, these incredible bonuses when you're inside the program, unlimited coaching and support, not waiting around for a one-off appointment. You can ask me anytime. You have an amazing community that you can lean on for accountability, and you get lifetime access, right? Lifetime access to the content. So you can come back to it whenever you need. Why does this work better than one-to-one appointments, right? One-to-one clients end up paying upwards or more than $10,000 over time. And it's slow, right? One-to-one means you wait for your appointment, you ask your questions, you go home with maybe a few exercises, and then you come back the next time just to review, get some hands-on therapy, and nothing really changes. Inside the Move with Ease method, you have access to me all the time. And in our private community, we dive deep and we personalize and customize your experience. Most moms need this accessible option because we don't have extra time and hours in a day to go to various appointments just to get no results. Okay, which is why when you join today, it's only $19.97 USD. I'm going to put the enrollment link in the chat so that you can save it and have a look. There is also room for questions here. We're just almost at that 1 hour mark. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me now. Otherwise, I'm going to, I just need to grab the link for you guys. I also have your free gift, so don't run away before your free gift so that you can start implementing the strategies we learned today. I promise you, if you start implementing those 3 pillars, you're going to already start feeling better. There's your free gift. Michelle asked, just wondering if you're in Ottawa, why are you charging USD? It is through the program that I built, and honestly, it's just through my business coaching, and that's just how they've showed us how to set up the account. If anyone has other questions, let me know. I can be here for another 5 to 10 minutes. You can unmute yourself, show me your face. If you have a question about XYZ, if you have a question about breath, if you have a question about the program, I'm here for you. So this workshop is for you. Let me know what your questions are. Otherwise, there are 2 links for you to check out. One is your free gift, which is the checklist for you to do daily to start your journey. And the other one is the enrollment page. You can learn more about the program breakdown in there. I am also here if you want to ask me any questions. Thanks, Carla. Yeah, Boston, 3 weeks away. So I really, really invite you to, start asking yourself some of these questions, right, that we talked about, really getting clear on your desires, your goals, and what's holding you back. And, the fastest way to get there is to implement the things that we talked about today. And the fastest and easiest way to implement them is through some guidance and coaching, just like my clients, Nicole, Brianne, Amanda, Alana, Carol, all these awesome women who have overcome peeing their pants, get to enjoy a fit, active lifestyle. And it doesn't take that long, you guys. Some of my clients see results within, 3 to 4 weeks inside the program. So I really would love to work with you. This is my passion. I know how hard it can be as a busy mom. And sometimes we just need a proven protocol, a strategy that works. Thank you, Michelle. And I really encourage you to reach out. I'm on Instagram, Tatiana Graham Inc. You have my email now, so never feel shy to connect. This is truly my passion, is to help moms, help women live into their 40s and beyond, not feeling stuck, stiff, and sore. It can be yours. A fun, active lifestyle. It can be yours. You're welcome, Martine. Bye, everyone. I'll stay for another minute or two if you want to ask me anything or unmute. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Monday.